Good morning, everybody. I am totally what you see is what you get person, and this is what you get on a Saturday morning. I have threatened my kids 1,000 times to behave, but you might see them running around anyway. That's all right. Okay, so what I have in front of me today, and I'll just kind of explain while everybody's hopping on. This is your perfect opportunity to learn a ton about meal planning. I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly what I do every week and some of the things that I've learned that have helped me along, especially using the containers, because I know they can be overwhelming in the beginning. And when I started, was all alone. My coach had only been coaching for 1 month, and so she didn't even really know what she was doing well enough to teach me. So I figured all of this out from scratch on my own, and I really like to do this in-depth meal planning sessions so that you all don't flounder around forever like I did and feel lost and overwhelmed and kind of defeated just trying to get started. So what I have in front of me is, most importantly, my tea. I'm actually going live on my phone, and I have my laptop beside of me. I have on my laptop, I'm looking, and I'm going to go straight through the step-by-step guide that I posted this morning. So you should, if you want to do the same thing, like watch me on your phone and then have your laptop or tablet or something to the side. That typically works best for me. I have a notebook and a pen and my weekly planner. So again, phone, laptop. My laptop has the Getting Started guide on it. I also have pulled up Pinterest and Beachbody On Demand and my planner with paper and pen. So that's what I'm starting with, and I actually did mine yesterday so that I could just straight up teach you and try to be as streamlined as possible. So I'll try to keep everything short and to the point. Good morning, Katie. I don't know who else is out there. Let me know, say hey whenever you join, and feel free, this is your opportunity to ask questions. If you have your paper and pen and you have questions about what I'm doing, and again, the whole pregnancy brain thing, if something doesn't make sense, just tell me. Ask all your questions. Okay, so first of all, getting started with the portion containers. I put 2 different video links in the guide, and they're short. One of them is just a YouTube video that's 4 minutes long. It's just Autumn talking about how you get started. And then everyone has access to the Fixate cooking show. It's under the nutrition tab on Beachbody On Demand. And the very first video should say Containers 101. And it's about an 8-minute video that will help you too. So both of those are a good introduction. It's very important that you pick a program, and soon. If you haven't already, do it soon and read through the eating guide. So 5 years ago was when the 21 Day Fix launched, and that was the first program that had the containers. So that's really the original, and it just exploded with success. And basically every program they've produced in the last 5 years since then has incorporated the containers in some way, but they are all different. So Country Heat isn't as intense as 21 Day Fix, but 21 Day Fix isn't as intense as 80 Day Obsession. So the calculations are a little bit different based on the calorie burn of the program. For example, Lift 4, it just has weight. If you weigh between this much and this much, this is your bracket, and there's not even a calculation. T20, I can't remember exactly how T20 is done because I haven't done it yet, but they vary. Even like with 80-day obsession, it is super detailed, even to the point of telling you which containers to eat at what time of the day based on when your workout is. So I know we have lots of people doing lots of different programs, and the containers are tweaked based on the intensity and the purpose and intent of the program. That's what I'm really looking forward to about the Ultimate Portion Fix, is that it just has 3 different paths based on your goal, and you just follow your path regardless of what program you're doing. That's the part of UPF that I am most excited about, because it can be confusing when you move from program to program to have new rules to follow. So that's why it's important to pick your program on Beachbody On Demand. Go out there and find it, and then at the top it'll have overview, videos, and program materials, and you want to click on program materials and download and read the eating plan or nutrition guide, whatever it's called. I'm going to go through the 21-day fix because it was the original, and I think it's a good base for anybody who wants to get started on the portion containers. So I'm on Beachbody On Demand. I just clicked program materials. Actually, let me flip my phone around and let me show you exactly what I'm doing. Hang on just a second. Oops. Okay. Here we go. Hopefully you can see this. All right, so here I am under program materials. These are all the things that used to come as paper copies and now are just all online. So you would have the start here, like the little quick start guide. You have your workout calendar, and then under nutrition, this is where you're going to find a lot of helpful information. I would highly recommend either printing or downloading this food list. It is a comprehensive list of all the ideas of foods and serving sizes that go in each container. So you have all of your greens, all of your purples, all of your reds. So as you're meal planning, it's nice to be able to just look at this for ideas. Like maybe you need a veggie side. Oh, I like cabbage, or I like green beans, or I like broccoli. It's nice to see that, just mainly for brainstorming, but also as you use the containers to get used to what the serving sizes are. Because obviously, like, a piece of toast doesn't fit in a yellow container. You don't want to smash your toast all to pieces. So there are some things, those weird foods, that don't exactly fit. It will tell you what the equivalent is. But this is the eating plan. Again, I bought the 21-day fix as paper copies and DVDs, so I actually have this little book. You scroll down here, and this is the calculation. So you're going to take your weight, multiply it by 11, and that gives you your baseline. You're going to add 400 calories. That's an approximation of what you'll burn in your workout. So add 400 calories, and this is your maintenance. If you did not want to lose weight, you would stop here. Like somebody like me who's pregnant, I'm not looking to lose weight. I would stop here. But if you do want to lose weight, then you subtract 750. And this is your calorie target. So weight times 11 plus 400 minus 750. Whatever that number says, you come down to the next page and you find the calorie bracket that you're supposed to be in. And this is the number of containers that you eat each day total. So for example, I'm in plan A. In one day, it doesn't matter what time of the day, I eat 3 veggies, 2 fruits, 4 proteins, 2 carbs, 1 healthy fat, 1 seeds and dressings, and 2 teaspoons, which is oils and nut butters. So that is what my healthy, balanced day should look like. So this is where you're going to start. I'm sure you can Pinterest or Google plan a 21-day fix meal plans and find a ton. But I find that it's just helpful for you to figure out how to do it for you. They do have these tally sheets that help like each meal of the day. You write like 1 veggie or 2 fruits or 1 protein, whatever your meal is for the day. If this is lunch and you had, if you had a salad, so you had maybe 2 veggies worth on your salad, and then you cut up an apple on the side and you had some chicken on your salad, then this is where you would fill in all the little tallies. So this is something they included that's kind of helpful. But this is basically how you get started, the calculation and finding your plan. Now, back to me. Whoops, sorry. Okay. Any questions about that so far? That is like the bare bones basics of finding out where to start. Now, I'll give you like a couple seconds just to throw up your questions if you have any. Sorry, I've got a lot of congestion going on today. Whew. All right. So let me just dive into my general overall tips for meal planning. I actually started meal planning right after I got married and realized my mommy wasn't gonna fix dinner for me anymore. And Jake and I, like we got home from the honeymoon, you go back to work that first week, you're trying to get in a groove, and you're like, who's gonna feed us? Oh wait, I guess we have to feed ourselves now. And I luckily learned to cook by myself and enjoyed it, but I was not organized in the least. And every day at work, I would find a recipe, and every day after work, I would go home. On my way home, I would go to the grocery store, and I would have my recipe, and I would buy all the things in the ingredients list. And eventually, after like 2 or 3 months, it just got to be exhausting. I didn't have the time to go to the grocery store literally 5 times a week. It was costing us a ton of money to buy all those individual ingredients with no plan. I'd end up with 3 bottles of honey in my cabinet because I didn't know what was in my cabinet because I was just buying it on the fly every day. Or if our plans changed, I ended up with like tons of produce and food I would just have to throw away because I didn't end up using it or didn't need enough or bought too much or whatever. It was a disaster. Finally, my breaking point was one day when I went to the grocery store and got all the stuff, got home. I had spaghetti on the stove, I had something like meat in the oven, crescent rolls in the oven, and I had forgotten spaghetti sauce. I'm pretty sure it was spaghetti sauce, but I forgot something and I'm pretty sure it was spaghetti sauce. Well, you can't have spaghetti without sauce. So guess who got to go to the store again while dinner was literally on the stove? I was mad, real mad. And then I started Pinteresting. Back then, it was when like Pinterest was huge and new. And I came across this meal planning and I thought, meal planning, this is like, somebody's gonna make a ton of money off of this because it's genius. And I thought it was something totally new that was radically different than what anybody else in the world was doing. So that was my beginnings of learning to meal plan. So it's been almost 9 years now of meal planning, and then 3 years ago when I started using the containers, I learned how to modify that for being healthier. So I've done it a long time, and now with the containers being about 3 years, I feel like I have a good handle on it to help you. So as we go through this, feel free to ask any questions that you have. but specifically for the containers, and just a routine in general. Does anybody already meal plan? Like, do we have any gurus out there already? People who like to meal plan or have done it, or have you like bombed and not been successful at all? It would be nice to know. But what helps me the most is having a weekly routine. So when I was working, Fridays at lunchtime, I would sit down and jot out what I wanted my meal plan to be, and all the different recipes. Okay, so yes, struggle with breakfast and lunches. Okay, so hopefully Shakeology could help with your breakfast. And then lunches, I have a couple ideas of different things that I do. So that's good. But having this weekly routine helps me a lot. So Friday at lunch, I would meal plan. And then you'll see, as I make my meal plan, I make my grocery list. Saturday, I would go to the grocery store. Sunday, I would prep anything that I felt like I wouldn't have time to make during the week. And honestly, Sundays are usually a complete rest day for me. I don't like to cook. I don't like to do anything. So a lot of people will go ahead and prep their, like if they're going to eat a salad every day, put the little salad in a jar type things. I don't typically do that, but a lot of people do, and it's very effective. So then I knew I was ready. So Friday I had my plan, I had my list. Saturday I went to the store, executed my list. Sunday I rested or prepped, and Monday I was ready to go. And I knew that personally, if by Monday I did not have my groceries, I was screwed for the week. So my very last chance to be successful was Monday after work. I would swing by the grocery store on the way home. And if not, my week was a disaster. So whatever your schedule is, I know we have several nurses and people who travel a lot for their jobs. And so, you know, I've had friends who worked night shift and they just stay on that schedule all the time. And so 2 a.m. was the best time for them to go to the grocery store on a Thursday, you know. So whatever this looks like in your life, this routine, I highly recommend that you just kind of play around and see what works best for you, whether it's a Friday night or whether it's sitting down on a Saturday morning. And that way you are prepared. The whole goal is to be prepared completely for Monday morning. As far as the routine of my day, when I first started, I probably did 6 different meal plans. They were crazy, scattered all over the place. Of course, the first thing I did was go to Pinterest, and I found all these recipes, and I'm like, okay, but how do I get all the containers in one day? Like, how do I know I'm getting them all in? How in the world am I going to plan for that many types of food at one time, at one day? So this is what I do. I came up with a routine for eating every day. So every morning I have my shake. I know that it's a protein with half a banana is a fruit, a handful of spinach is a vegetable, and then if you use 8 ounces of almond milk, that's a teaspoon, and peanut, like if you put a teaspoon of peanut butter in, that would be another teaspoon. So at least, at a very minimum, I had protein, fruit, veggie. Then I would have my morning snack. I would drink Shakeology about 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. on my way to work, and that would hold me over at least until 9 to 10 o'clock. So I would have just a short, quick snack, like an apple with peanut butter, which would be my other fruit, and a healthy fat, or I would have, peanut butter is a teaspoon, or I would have like 2 of those little cutie oranges with nuts, or I would have like a Kind bar, but I try to limit those. If it was on the go, I would have a Kind bar, which I would mainly consider a carb because it has lots of sugar in it. But I would try to keep the same containers, fruit and half a healthy fat or a whole healthy fat. Then for lunch, I always had dinner leftovers. So my dinners and my lunches are both a protein, a carb, and a veggie. There's no reason that you need to make it any more complicated than that. And see, I'm plan A, so if you're in a higher plan than me, you might just have 2 veggie sides, or a big salad might be good for you for lunch if you're trying to get those veggies in. And then if I needed, most of the time I don't have an afternoon snack. Again, this is you figuring out what your schedule needs. If you feel like you need an afternoon snack, I would do like the other half of the healthy fat and a veggie. So I would have, because hummus is a healthy fat. Actually, you can make a ranch dip with Greek yogurt, and that would be a protein. So there's like the ranch dip, the hummus, or I would just eat straight up raw veggies just to get something else in to tide me over to getting home to make dinner. So coming up with this routine every day made it a lot more simple, because in my mind, I knew what was coming. I knew what was next. And if I was eating the same thing, like for breakfast, then I always knew what breakfast was. If I was eating fruit and nuts for a snack every day, I didn't really have to plan what fruit. I just grabbed one. So as long as my house is filled with apples, bananas, oranges, grapes, I would just grab 2 oranges and I would keep my nuts in my in my desk at work. Easy. And then I'll get into this a little bit in a minute, but if lunch was always leftovers, then I just needed to make sure that I cooked dinner. And whenever I cooked dinner and I cleaned up dinner, I packed my lunch and there it went. So really in the morning, I was making my shake, grabbing 2 oranges, and grabbing my Tupperware from the fridge. And each day got a little bit easier. So having that routine, and again, whatever it looks like, the 21-day fix and the portion containers recommend 5 to 6 small meals a day, like small meal snacks. So when you think, like, I don't necessarily consider Shakeology a meal replacement, but it is one of my 4 or 5 meal snacks per day, if that makes sense. I drink it for breakfast because that's when it helps me the most. So then my next tip, this is tip number 3, start a Pinterest board, or like if you love cookbooks or you print them out and you create your own notebook of recipes, whatever you do, just keep them all in one spot. If Pinterest ever dies, I will never be able to make dinner again. I'm just telling you. I've got to go through and print out my best recipes on there. But like, I have a board for paleo recipes. I have a board for my regular recipes. I have a board for Whole30 recipes. I have a board for my Instapot recipes. So you all are more than welcome to follow me and steal all of it. My username is Meg Mackenzie 10. So go out there. There's like literally roughly like 400 recipes out there. The further back you go, the less healthy they are, just letting you know. So tip number 4 is keep all your meal plans in a folder. And if you want to take it a step further, write your grocery list on the back of your meal plan. So week after week after week after week, I would make a whole new meal plan and a whole new grocery list. And after a while, I thought, well, that's stupid. I'm throwing my good hard work away at the end of every week. And eventually I started putting them in a folder so that if I didn't have a lot of time, I could at least, like if we had a super busy week, I would just pull one out and it was already done. And that helped a lot. So don't throw your hard work away for years like I did. 5, oh yeah, that was it. Going into, if you want to be super efficient, write your grocery list or all the ingredients on the other side. So that saves you time making a grocery list too. And number 6, prepping for each day. So this is huge for me, packing your food the night before. So like I said, I always ate leftovers. So when I cleaned up dinner, I put it in my Tupperware and it was ready to go. I would even go ahead and just set my 2 oranges on top of that, or my baggie of tomatoes, or whatever I was taking to work. So it's all in one nice little spot the night before, and you just grab and go. There were even some nights when, if I was struggling hardcore, I would pack my lunchbox and put my whole lunchbox in the fridge. So all I had to do was grab a cold lunchbox and go. And my last tip for that also is packing your workspaces with as much food as you can. So if we had like a tiny office fridge and I had my own desk, so I would keep all kinds of stuff just to make my life easier in my desk. So I would keep lots of peanut butter, almond butter. When I left in October, I had 6 jars of nut butters, and everybody was looking at me like, how much peanut butter do you eat in a week? And I'm like, a little bit. So
Mommy,
I had,
Mom,
yes, Maggie.
I had a small diamond, so I got my
Okay.
away.
All right, well, I'm trying to talk, so
No,
please
you
don't
help me.
go ask your daddy for help, please.
No, you do.
Okay, so I would keep nuts, nut butters. I would keep in our fridge. I would keep string cheese, or my kid's throwing her panties up here because she just peed on them, I guess. I don't know.
Please
Put-
on them.
Ew. Put your panties on, go.
Baby.
I would keep string cheese. I would keep my hummus at work. I would keep a bag of baby carrots. I would keep a bag of, that section of the produce where they're already in like individual bags, like green beans and snap peas and broccoli and cauliflower. I would buy those and just keep them at work. So that way, if I ever forgot anything or I ever ran out of time, yes, that's Maggie. But I want you to put my panties on. I'm like, I don't have time for that. I told you, it's Saturday morning. You see what you get. But having all that food already available took out the, I don't know the word, but if I missed something, or if I just didn't have time that day, or you had a bad morning with the kids, it didn't throw my whole day off, and I didn't start making bad choices because it just wasn't available. I always had food available to me at work that I could eat. So those are my general tips for meal planning. Okay, and I'm sorry this is taking so long. I wanted to be done by now, but there's just a lot to say. All right, so the specifics. Let's go through what I actually do, and hopefully I will be done in about 15 minutes or less. So the very first thing I do is get out my planner for the week, and I fill it all out. Anything that you have going on, whether it's church dinners or family dinners or your kids' practices, church events, ball games, appointments, anywhere that you have to be, anything you have to do, you want to know up here what is going on in your week. So I sat down, do that really fast. I want to know when my husband works, because he works 2 8s and 2 12s, and it's always different days. So I write down my husband's schedule, and I know generally what all we're doing. So that's all the different things you need to think about. Number 2, I will ask Jacob, and not necessarily the girls, but I will ask Jacob if there's anything in particular that he wants to eat this week that he likes. And so he wanted tuna cakes, because he loves my tuna cakes. So he wanted tuna cakes this week. I'm like, okay. And then when I choose sides and things like that, I try to choose ones that I know my family likes, or I will make them something like mac and cheese or grilled cheese or extra potatoes or something like that they like that I might not eat, but at least it keeps them involved with the dinner. And the more that you can involve them and tweak the things that they like to be a little bit healthier, they will follow you and be way more accepting of your new crazy healthy lifestyle, a lot more than you just saying, this is, which I did. I did this too. This is the way I'm eating. You can eat it or not. A lot of times they won't, but if I'm making something crazy like Brussels sprouts, I will make them something more normal that I know they'll like. So try to incorporate your family and make sure that you are trying to compromise on things that they will also eat. All right. So as for the actual nitty-gritty, I just use paper and pen. I'm also an Excel freak, so I have lots of Excel spreadsheets where I can just type in and kind of tally up to the side to make sure I'm getting it all in. But I'll have a notebook, and then I'll take another piece of paper and I make my grocery list at the same time I'm making my meal plan. So on the side, and you can do this with like crayons or markers or just writing the letters, but like I wrote protein, veggie, fruit, carb, fruit, teaspoon, protein, carb, veggie, protein, carb, veggie. So like this is the structure of my day, and then I just fill in what goes there. So this might be something you find helpful, or like if you like the colors better, you could put red, purple, green, or red, purple, yellow, or whatever your colors are. And then just, if you're eating the same types of food the same time every day, it's much easier to fill in. So for breakfast, I'm having Shakeology with spinach, half a banana, and a piece of toast. Sometimes I might put peanut butter on it or not. I'm playing it a little loose, being pregnant. If I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. So my meal plan might be a little bit looser than you want yours to be, and I would recommend following it to the letter every day for at least your first program, because it builds consistency, it builds your confidence in yourself, and you will see much better results, especially on the weekends. If you're not falling off the wagon, plan out every single day. So then I have my fruit and my healthy fat or nuts, healthy fat or my teaspoon of peanut butter for my snack. And then what I did was I went to Pinterest and I started with dinner. Sorry, I'm getting out of order on my thing here. Start with dinner, and I went out to Pinterest and I checked just, randomly through. What I'm doing is comparing my recipes to my schedule. So for example, this week, Jacob works 8 hours on Monday and Tuesday, and then we have church dinner on Wednesday, and then he works 12 hours on Thursday and Friday. So I know that he'll be home early Monday and Tuesday, which gives me someone to watch the kids, and I can make a longer dinner if I want. On Thursday and Friday, he won't be home until 7:30, so I might consider a crock pot meal or some kind of soup, or I just need something really short and quick since the girls will be helping me at home. So I go through and I kind of just try to pair up what works for my day, because I want to be as successful as possible. So I don't want to plan something that takes an hour on a day that he's not going to be here to help me. Or, if you have ball games one evening, you're not going to plan an hour-long dinner whenever you're not even going to be at home. So it's just kind of those things to get used to in your brain. I try to choose some different kind of meat or different kind of meal every night. Again, it just keeps it interesting. It makes my family not mad at me for eating chicken every single day. And who wants to eat chicken every single day anyhow? So I try to choose, we don't eat pork, but if you like pork, chicken or turkey, red meat, seafood, pasta. So here I ended up choosing tuna cakes, turkey meatballs with spaghetti, And the girls requested Brenner again. So eggs and bacon, and they want pancakes. So I'll have eggs and bacon and toast, and they'll have pancakes. And then veggie beef soup on Friday. So you can see I chose tuna, seafood, turkey, which is white meat, eggs and bacon, and then beef and veggie stew. So we kind of have all kinds of different things there. Keep it simple. Don't go out to Pinterest and try to find these crazy elaborate meals or casseroles with 1,000 things in them, because you're trying to get used to portions, and when it's all dumped in together, you can't really portion it out very well. And oftentimes they have a lot more carbs and a lot more fat than protein and veggies in there. So your portions are going to be skewed anyway. So I would just caution you, again, in your first full program, just keep it simple. There's no reason, like literally chicken, mashed potatoes, and green beans is a perfectly acceptable meal. So don't be afraid to just be simple. Mine are tuna cakes with roasted potatoes and roasted cabbage. That's it. Turkey meatballs with spaghetti, tomato sauce, and asparagus. Eggs, bacon, toast, and I will eat a raw pepper with it. And then beef and veggie soup with grilled cheese for the kids. And I might have like one slice of toast with peanut butter or something like that. So simple. Don't make it harder on yourself than it needs to be. So after you choose dinner, you can fill in the rest of your plan. If you're like me, it makes lunch the next day really easy because lunch is the same thing. Now that I'm at home, I'm not really eating tons of leftovers. I will choose, this goes into, can you eat the same thing for every meal, or do you need variety? Like, are you somebody who can have a salad in a jar every single day for lunch? I hate salads and I don't like eating the same thing for lunch. So I found out over time, eat the same thing for like 2 or 3 times a week. So I'll pick 2 different meals for lunch, and I will prep them on Sunday, and then I'll alternate them throughout the week. So what I picked for this week was turkey on a wrap with veggies. And again, I don't write down which veggies because I just keep a lot of them. We eat lots of peppers, lots of cucumbers, lots of tomatoes and carrots. So as long, I buy these things every single week and they're always gone. So I wrote down peppers, but if I want a tomato or if I want some carrots or whatever, I'll just pick a veggie. I do, yes, either whole wheat or whole grain pasta, yes. You could even try gluten-free pastas. They kind of mess with my stomach, but a lot of gluten-free pastas are made with rice or quinoa or chia seeds, so you could try that too. But most of the time, you can go downhill real fast with some of these crazy pastas. I bought chickpea pasta, I think it was called Bonza pasta. It was honestly the worst meal I have ever made since we got married. It was so bad. So just be careful. I typically stick with whole grain and it's good. So this is, again, you will have to figure out what you like. I do not like roasted vegetables reheated. I will not eat them the next day. So when I make roasted vegetables for dinner, I make enough just for dinner. I love raw veggies. So as long as I have tons of raw veggies around, I can literally eat a pepper like an apple. So these are the things that eventually you will figure out about yourself through trial and error. But what is your threshold for leftovers? Oh, sorry, I didn't finish that. So turkey wrap with veggies, and chicken salad on pita bread with veggies. Those are the 2 things that I'm going to alternate for lunch. every day this week. Again, consider when you're going to drink your Shakeology and how you're going to make it. What containers will you incorporate into your Shakeology? And then, are you going to need a snack every morning and every evening? Or maybe mostly just the mornings or mostly just the afternoons? Whatever your trouble spot is, try to identify that. So, like I said, as I picked out my recipes, I made my grocery list. My grocery list might look a little funny to you because I organize it into categories. So here's my dairy, veggies, fruit, breakfast, bread type things, canned type things, meats, and these are my breads and pastas. So that way, when I go to the store, I'm not crisscrossing myself all over the place or getting to the end and be like, crap, I forgot 3 different things that are way back there. When I go to the dairy, I know what I need. When I go down the breakfast aisle, I know what I need. And it just makes it more efficient and helpful. Also, what I did, let's see. Okay, so you're going to use the recipes to make your list. Then you're going to go through the rest of your cabinets to see, we're out of ketchup, we're out of sugar, we're out of Kind bars, whatever. Finish out your list, and the goal is to have a complete list that you do not need to deviate from. This will save you time, it will save you money. Do not take your family with you unless you have to. Whew, my family likes to throw all kinds of random weird stuff in our buggy, which just costs us time and frustration and money. So if you can go alone, I recommend going alone. What I did yesterday was place a Kroger pickup or Kroger click list, whatever they call it these days, for today because I'm going to the mall. We're going shopping later for Easter dresses, and I thought, well, that also saves me time. It also forces me not to deviate from my list because I submitted it online. It's over and done. I'm not seeing the food. I'm not smelling the food. I'm not having to spend time in line and all that, dragging my kids there. So after I made my grocery list, I just went down. You can see my little check marks, and I just check them off as I add them to my click list buggy. So, it forces you to toe the line, right? If you're only adding the stuff. And if you have a complete list, there's really no reason you need anything else. So it definitely helps me stay on track and not pick up those extra snacks, or not just see something and be like, oh yeah, that sounded good, maybe I'll eat that, or that sort of thing. So if you use Kroger or Walmart click list pickup, I highly recommend it. Otherwise, take your organized list and go to the store. So that's where I wanted to stop today. That's basically it from start to finish. So what are your questions? I'll give you just a few seconds to pop on any questions that you have. Sorry this took a while. While you're asking questions, this here is a skill. Just like anything else, you're going to learn how to do a bicep curl with proper form. You're going to go from 1 push-up to 6 push-ups, and that takes time, and that takes practice, and that takes skill. And meal planning is no different. You don't have to be perfect the first time that you do it. It took me my first whole 21 days to really feel like I had a rhythm with it. So don't feel discouraged if you struggle a little bit. Do the very best you can. I don't care at all to look over your meal plans, even if you want to email them to me or message them to me. I'm fairly available. Even if anybody wants to go to lunch, we can have a meal planning lunch session. I'm here to help, so let me know how I can help you further. But again, don't be too hard on yourself. Don't try to go too crazy over the top. Figure out what program you're going to do, what containers you need to eat. Try to develop a daily eating routine. If it doesn't work, that's okay. Change it next week. Again, this is a lifelong thing that you're doing. Even though your program might be 30 days, this is the plan you're going to follow. So 3 years in, it's easy to me. It might take you an hour. It might take you an hour and a half the first time. Yesterday, well, I wrote this document yesterday. That took most of the time, but I can meal plan in probably 30 minutes or less at this point, start to finish. And it's just because I've practiced it and I know what my body needs. I know what my family likes, and it's become a part of our life. So, and it will for you too. Just like anything else, you have to practice and learn and refine, and you will do great. So if anybody's watching the replay, feel free to pop your questions in and at any time, and I will answer them. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great Saturday. See you later. Bye.